Hello, welcome everyone to this first business meeting of the Kalamazoo City Commission for 2020. I'd like to call the meeting to order. Clerk Borling, please call the roll.
Commissioner Cunningham.
Here.
Commissioner Hess.
Here.
Commissioner Knott.
Here.
Commissioner Pradel.
Present.
Commissioner Urban.
Here.
Vice Mayor Griffin.
Here.
Mayor Anderson.
Here. For our opening ceremony, see here, doesn't look like we have anybody for an invocation. Is that right, Borling? Okay, for our opening ceremony, will everyone please rise and stand for the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Commissioners, we have one proclamation tonight, and it is for National Mentoring Month. Commissioner Pradel will be reading the proclamation, and I'll go to the podium to make the presentation. Commissioner Pradel.
All right, we'd like to welcome our friends from Big Brothers Big Sisters here tonight to recognize National Mentoring Month, which is in month January 2020 here. Just wanted to share, this is a really great organization. My wife and I have had the opportunity to be a big family, and I've mentored a young gentleman myself as well. And so here we go. Whereas the health, educational, and social well-being of children is the responsibility of all citizens, whereas the strengthening of our children through mentoring, we are building a stronger future for them, our communities, and our state. And whereas the efforts of one adult mentoring a child will help ensure that a child realizes his or her own personal value and potential, and instill within them hope for a bright future. And whereas relationships with caring mentors offer youth valuable encouragement, motivation, and support to guide them in making positive choices, whereas the local success indicators show that youth with a caring adult in their lives are more likely to have successful futures and become responsible citizens, and whereas in connection with the national mentoring effort, the Kalamazoo Big Brothers and Big Sisters Agency challenges residents of the greater Kalamazoo area to step forward to volunteer to become a mentor. Therefore, on behalf of the 53rd City Commission, Mayor Anderson here proclaims January 2020 to be National Mentoring Month in Kalamazoo, and encourages citizens to use this time to better understand and recognize the need to help and guide a local child to reach his or her full potential. So we're very honored to have here tonight Amy, who is the CEO of Big Brothers Big Sisters, and Tamia Lamar and Chloe Ray. So we're so glad you guys are here.
I like having a big sister. And I hope other people will volunteer.
Well, thank you for the time this evening and the proclamation in honor of Mentoring Month. Proud to have my little sister Chloe here with me, and Tamia. They are both taller than me and smarter, which is good. Would really like to encourage everyone to consider mentoring, giving back to kids in the community. If you can't be a mentor yourself, encourage someone else to do so. It's very simple, 2 hours twice a month for a year, and you can definitely change a child's life. So thank you so much, and appreciate your time and attention. Good evening.
Thank you so much, everyone who came out tonight for that proclamation. Commissioners, You have before you the agenda for tonight's meeting. Are there any changes you would like to see? Is there anyone in the audience here to speak to an item on the consent agenda? That's anything under item F. If so, you need to ask that the item be moved to the regular agenda. Are there any such requests? Seeing none, next item is communications. Are there any communications? City Manager Ritzma.
Yeah, I would just draw people's attention to a work session we're having next Monday on the utility rates proposed for 2020. And that meeting is going to be held at our water reclamation plant out on Harrison Road. And I believe it's set to begin at 5, but 5 or 6. I'll double check on that.
Okay. Thank you very much. An appropriate place to have that meeting.
Yeah, right.
And the time is?
6 p.m.
6 p.m. Okay, great. The next item on the agenda is a public hearing. So I'd like to open the public hearing to receive comments on the fiscal year 2020 proposed budget for the City of Kalamazoo. If there's anyone who would like to make a comment on this item, please come to the podium, give your name and whether you live in the city, and you'll have 4 minutes to make your comments. Just as a note, we are not taking action on the budget tonight. This is the hearing on our budget. Anyone who wants to make comments? Seeing City Manager.
Yeah, I thought I'd ask our Chief Financial Officer, Steve Vicenzi, to just comment on the proposed 2020 budget.
Mayor Anderson, Vice Mayor Griffin, Commissioners, it's my pleasure to present the proposed 2020 budget for public comment tonight. The budget was publicly posted on our website November 25th and has been available for viewing since then. You have held your public work session on December 9th. The total budget is $203,138,331. This amount is slightly different than the amount posted publicly. Few changes I'd like to highlight for you. There's an additional $455,830 in operating expenditures for the Foundation for Excellence Fund. These expenditures were transmitted and included in other presentations to the Commission. They were just merely an oversight by our team on the budget side, and we'd like to include those in the final document. And additionally, in the Water Fund, we'd like to include an additional $1 million in 2020 and $1 million in 2021 for facility repairs that have been since identified since the initial budget was proposed. The general fund budget totals $67,603,465. We project to have an unreserved general fund balance of 17.5% of operating revenues. This exceeds our target of 15%. We project to meet or exceed that target over the course of the 5-year fiscal plan. The budget also includes proposed unchanged millage rate of 12 mills for operations and 1.8 mills for solid waste. It supports 646 full-time positions and 9 part-time positions. In the budget is included the capital plan of $53.9 million that is across all funds and supported by a variety of funding sources. I'd like to take a moment to thank the City Manager's Office, all of our departments and department heads, and some specific members of our budget team, including Melissa Fuller, Jennifer Clark, and Valletta Sellers-Evans, for all of their hard work to bring this budget to you for consideration. The final budget will be brought for consideration January 21st in advance of our chartered deadline adoption date of February 1. And I will turn it back over to you to receive any public comments.
There we go. Let's turn my mic on. No questions then? Okay. Thank you, sir. Seeing no other comments, at this time, I will close the public hearing. There will be no action, once again, taken tonight. Our budget will be voted on at our next regular meeting on January 21st. And just for further edification on this, this budget has been available on our website since December 1st. That's when our charter requires that it be public and in the hands of the commission. And we did hold a work session in December, public as well, on this budget. So thank you so much for all your work and bringing this budget to us. This is, I think, the biggest budget I have been involved in. It's a big number. Next on our agenda is F, and this is the consent agenda. City Manager.
We have 15 items on the consent agenda this evening. First is the approval of a sole source purchase with Western Michigan University for the hydrogeological and geochemical evaluation of the Spring Valley watershed in the amount of $108,688. Next is the approval of the purchase of site furnishings for Bronson Park from Landscape Forms in the amount of $117,456.50. Next is the approval of a professional services agreement with Prine and Newhoff for construction engineering services for the 35th Street Water Main Extension Contamination Response Project in the amount of $136,650. Next is the authorization of a payment of $159,434 for the 2020 excess workers' compensation premium. Next is the approval of a professional service agreement with Inform Architecture to provide architectural and engineering services for the farmers market in the amount of $290,480. Next is the approval of a one-year contract extension with the Michigan Municipal Risk Management Authority through IBEX Insurance Agency for property and casualty insurance annual premium and member loss fund deposit not to exceed $983,310. Next is the approval of the 2020 through 2025 audit services contract with Maynard Costerison in the amount of $441,800. And next is the first reading of an ordinance amending Article 4, Mobile Food Vehicle Vendors, which includes renaming this section Mobile Food Businesses. Next is the adoption of a resolution adopting and approving the Act 381 Brownfield Plan for Davis Creek Business Park, located at 2805 East Cork Street. Next is the adoption of a support emergency operations plan for the city of Kalamazoo. Next is the approval of an amendment to the wastewater sewer agreement with the Charter Township of Ostrovo so as to permit the township to receive a federal rural utility service low-interest 40-year loan to improve its sewer system. Next is the approval of the grant contract with the Michigan Department of Environment, Great Lakes, and Energy for the Wellhead Protection Grant Program, amount of $70,000. Next is the approval of a right-of-way encroachment license agreement for the developers of the 400 Rose project to install a canopy over a portion of the sidewalk on West Level Street. Next is the approval of an easement to permit the developers of the 400 Rose project to occupy a narrow 40-inch landscape curb encroachment along the northern right-of-way of West Cedar Street for a distance of about 172.5 feet west of South Rose Street. And finally, approval of a purchase agreement with Texas Charter Township for property for the 6th Street South Elevated Water Storage Tank Project in the amount of $27,500 and final paving of the parking lot.
Thank you. Thank you, Manager Ritzma. So, Commissioners, the requested action is to approve items 1 through 15 and authorize the City Manager to sign all documents on behalf of the city. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Motion made by Commissioner Hess and supported by Commissioner Knott. Clerk Borling, please call the roll.
Commissioner Hess.
Yes.
Commissioner Knott.
Yes.
Commissioner Pradel.
Yes, however, I'd like to abstain from F1 because my employer is Western Michigan University.
Commissioner Urban.
Yes.
Vice Mayor Griffin.
Yes.
Mayor Anderson.
Yes.
Commissioner Cunningham.
Yes.
Thank you, Commissioners. Items on the consent agenda are approved. Next are reports and legislation. City Manager Ritzma, do you have a report?
Nothing, Your Honor.
Attorney Robinson? No, ma'am. Clerk Borling?
No, sir.
Thank you so much. Now is the time on our agenda for citizen comments. You may comment on any topic. Anyone wishing to address the City Commission should come to the podium, give your name, and whether you live in the city, you'll have 4 minutes to make your comments, and then sometime before or after, please sign your name over here so Clerk Borling knows who made the comments. Thank you so much. Yes?
Hello, my name is Nehemiah Scudder, and I live in the city of Kalamazoo. And I've been kind of watching the back pages of the bulletin the Foundation for Excellence put out. And one of their claims made there was that they had approved a little over 130 low-cost housing units. And I asked them if they would contact me regarding that because many of my friends are homeless. And maybe we could work out a deal between the two groups. I wonder though, what low cost for one person may be very high cost for somebody else. At one point I heard that President Trump was lowering taxes on middle income people. I thought that sounds great. Then I found out that by middle income people, he meant people with about $250,000 per year in annual salary. Well, to me, that's not low middle income, that's high income. But I don't know, if the Foundation for Excellence would get in touch with me and clarify what they mean by low income housing units, I would appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you. Next, please.
Hello. Good evening, Mayor, Vice Mayor, and City Commissioners, City Attorney, City Manager, and City Clerk. I was just curious if the City Manager's office was able to make ordinances which have the force of law without the City Commission's approval. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Next, please.
Hello, Jody Dozeman. I live in Kalamazoo. I'm homeless at the time while I'm shuffling ideas from things that have happened in the past as Stadium Drive Apartments. I'm going to be talking about compensations. Hopefully some specialties arriving on the spaceship, the gluten-free vegetarian ideas that have specialties arriving. And hopefully we can bond with my companions and see who's saying what and how it's going to work together, and love the mission. Thank you.
Thank you. Yes.
Jeff Messer, city resident. I would like to invite the public to attend a ranked choice voting town hall meeting. The forum will be held this Sunday, January 12 at 2 p.m. at First Congregational Church, 345 West Michigan Avenue in downtown Kalamazoo. Free parking is available all day Sunday at the metered spaces on Academy Street behind the church. Ranked choice voting, also called instant runoff voting and ranked preference voting, allows citizens to rank candidates in order of preference and have an instant runoff if the top vote getter does not receive more than 50% of the votes. It is useful when there are 3 or more candidates competing for a single office. Consider, for example, the November 2014 election for 20th District Michigan Senate, where there were 3 candidates, Margaret O'Brien, Sean McCann, and chronic street spammer Lawrence Winkie. Margaret won office by winning only 45.5% of the vote. 54.5% of the voters did not cast a vote for the winning candidate. In a ranked choice election, each voter would have been able to indicate their first and second choice preferences for candidates. The first choice votes are tallied. If no one receives more than 50% of the vote, the bottom vote getter is eliminated. The people who voted for that candidate would have their second choice votes applied to the remaining candidates. So an office holder who receives votes from majority of voters would probably be a good thing. However, I think the greatest benefit of ranked choice voting is its potential to break the two-party duopoly that currently has a stranglehold on our electoral system, and also promotes extremist positions on both ends. It is almost impossible to win office as a third party or independent candidate because of our current first-past-the-post voting system. A ranked choice voting system would eliminate the wasted vote syndrome, quotation marks, that keeps many people from voting for third party and independent candidates. In an instant runoff system, people can vote for a third party or independent candidate with their first preference vote and still vote for a major party candidate with their second or third preference vote. The wasted vote syndrome is eliminated. With the wasted vote syndrome eliminated, more people are likely to run for office as a third party or independent candidate. Some of the places in the United States where ranked choice voting is currently used are congressional elections in Maine, where in 2018, the first person was elected to Congress using the IRV system was a Democrat who unseated an incumbent Republican. It's used in local elections in San Francisco, California, Oakland, California, Minneapolis, Minnesota, St. Paul, Minnesota, and beginning in 2021, municipal offices in New York City. It is also used for the selection of the Academy for Best Picture by the Academy of Motion Picture Arts and Sciences. If you would like to know more about ranked choice voting, I suggest you go to wikipedia.org and read the article titled Ranked Choice Voting in the United States. You can go to the sponsor of the forum. Their website is rankmyvote.com, rank MI for Michigan, rankmyvote.com. Or you can come to the forum, which again will be held this Sunday, January 12 at 2 p.m. at First Congregational Church, 345 West Michigan Avenue in downtown Kalamazoo. Thank you.
Thank you. Is there anyone else in the audience who'd like to make comment this evening? If not, now's the time for commissioner comments. Are there any commissioners who would like to make a comment?
I just have a short one.
Commissioner Hess.
I just have a short comment. I'd like to give a shout out, I guess, to Assistant Chief Jeff Vanderweer, who did the lion's share of the work on the emergency preparedness plan that we approved in item number 10 of the consent agenda. The Public Safety Department really is concerned about the emergency preparedness of the city, and I want to honor that. So thank you so much.
Thank you, Commissioner. Anyone else? Commissioner Pradel.
I just wanted to thank all those involved, both the planners and the volunteers, for a great New Year's fest this year in Bronson Park and in downtown. Always do a really great job with that, and so thank you for that. The other thing as well, this Saturday, the 11th from 2 to 4, is the third annual coat drive, which takes place in Dr. Martin Luther King Park at 507 North Rose Street. That happens from 2 to 4, and they're collecting coats, gently used or new coats, and so it's a great opportunity to help support the community in a way during our cold season. So,
Thank you, Commissioner Pradel. Commissioner Urban.
Thank you. I just wanted to take this opportunity to remind people that at the next Planning Commission meeting, which is January the 14th, there's going to be, one of the issues is going to be the rezoning of the property at the corner of Drake and Stadium Drive. That property adjoins the Asylum Lake Preserve. Many people have expressed interest in preserving that property, but it does not belong to the city or to the Western Michigan University. So if you have interest in the outcome of that meeting, or want to influence the result of that meeting, I invite you to attend. It'll start at, I believe, 6 p.m. In this room on January the 14th, which is a Tuesday. Week from tonight. Yeah, that's it.
Thank you, Commissioner Urban. Anyone else? Thank you so much. So kind of a quiet start here to this new year, 2020, but I guess I want to remind all of us is that 2020 has a lot of important decisions coming our way here on the Commission, and they will not always be easy decisions. I think Commissioner Urban just mentioned one. We're going to be looking at zoning issues. Zoning issues are always challenging locally because it brings change, and there's going to be concern about that. We have zoning coming up this year. We have to deal with our adult use marijuana zoning ordinance and how we're going to manage that. There's going to be a lot to that. We're talking about items related to housing and fair housing here in Kalamazoo, so that's going to be a big issue. And I'm sure I'm leaving many things out of that conversation, but there will be challenging items coming to us here in the city. How to at once encourage development and at the same time preserve natural spaces and do this work for this community we all care about. So I am hoping that we are going to be able to do that in a way where we recognize that even though on some of these things coming forward there will be differences of opinion, we can be assured that that's going to be the case, that we're going to do this work in a way where we understand that beyond all that, we are doing this work together because we care about this community and care about the people that live here, and that we will do that in a way where we treat each other with kindness and respect. Thank you so much. Oh, sorry about that. Let's turn the page here and see what's next. There we go. Okay, last page. We have a closed session tonight. And so in some closed sessions at the end, we are discussing particular things that are allowed under the Open Meetings Act to go into closed session for. Some of them we go into closed session, and we do not come back. In this particular instance, after this closed session, we'll be coming back to take action after the closed session. Is that accurate? Okay. So we'll go into closed session. Hopefully that won't take too long, but we will be coming back for action after the closed session. So in order to do that, we have to have a motion to go in closed session. Clerk Borling will be asking for a motion. You'll be calling the roll, right? All right. Is there a motion from the commission to go into closed session?
So moved. Support.
Motion made by Commissioner Cunningham, supported by Commissioner Urban. Clerk Borling, please call the roll.
Commissioner Knott.
Yes.
Commissioner Pradle.
Yes.
Commissioner Urban.
Yes.
Vice Mayor Griffin.
Yes.
Mayor Anderson.
Yes.
Commissioner Cunningham.
Yes.
Commissioner Hess.
Yes.
Thank you, commissioners. We will be going into closed session. Yeah. Where are we going, City Manager? Right back here? Okay.
It's okay. Don't worry. We're all good.
Thank you to those of you who waited for us. We are now back in open session. Commissioners, the recommended action is it is recommended that the City Commission approve the negotiated labor relations agreement between the City of Kalamazoo and the American Federation of State, County, and Municipal Employees, AFSCME, for the period beginning October 3rd, 2019 through October 2nd of 2022. Is there a motion? Made by Commissioner Knott and supported by Commissioner Hess. Any discussion? Clerk Borling, please call the roll.
Commissioner Pradel,
Yes.
Commissioner Urban,
Yes.
Vice Mayor Griffin,
Yes.
Mayor Anderson,
Yes.
Commissioner Cunningham,
Yes.
Commissioner Hess,
Yes.
Commissioner Knott.
Yes.
Thank you, Commissioners. The motion passed. We are adjourned.